What?
No way!
Yes way! It's time for
News for Kids! News for Kids!
真的假的？
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 原来如此！
原来如此！
你不知道的趣味新鲜事
ICRT's News for Kids!
The last time I was at this beach, it was covered in garbage. There was so much garbage, I couldn't even walk along the water. 上一次来海边，有好多垃圾，这一次好多了。There were glass bottles, old boxes, and a lot of plastic garbage. Those are not things that should be on a beach. 上一次来这里，有玻璃瓶、旧的箱子，还有很多塑胶垃圾。Some experts say as much as 150,000 bags of garbage can be found on Taiwan's coastlines every year. That is about 650 tons worth of garbage. Do you know how much 650 tons weighs? That's the weight of about 160 full-grown Asian elephants. 每一年在台湾的海边会找出15万袋的垃圾，有650吨。That's why it is so important for people to volunteer to clean all the garbage up. If we don't help keep our coastlines clean, we won't be able to go to the beach and play in the water. 大家要保持海边干净，不然就不能在海边玩水了。Tomorrow, September 17th, is Coastal Cleanup Day. 明天是国际净滩日 and I am going to spend the day volunteering to pick up garbage that I see on the beach. 我要去海边帮忙捡垃圾。If everyone helps out a little, it shouldn't be too hard for all of us to keep Taiwan's coastlines clean.
Vocabulary
白白净净的沙滩让人向往 Beach 海滩
Let's go to the beach on Sunday. 我们星期天去海滩吧。
No, it's too hot. 不去，太热。
Let's leave at 5 p.m. 我们可以5点出发 and watch the sunset on the beach. 然后到海滩看夕阳。
Clean 干净的 The beach is often dirty. 海滩常常很脏。
No, it's clean now. 不，现在很干净。People picked up the garbage last weekend, remember? 大家上周末去捡垃圾，你记得吗？
Pick up 捡起来。
See, it's so nice here. 看吧，这里很舒服吧？
Yeah, if you pick up all these bottles. 是啊，要是你把这些瓶子都捡起来的话。Garbage 垃圾。
I can't believe there's already so much garbage. 真不敢相信又这么多垃圾了。
你有参加过净滩活动吗？ Beach 海滩 Clean 干净的 Pick up 捡起来 Garbage 垃圾。
It's quiz time!
Question number 1. How much garbage ends up on Taiwan's coastline every year? A. 150,000 bags worth. B. 1,500 bags worth. C. 150 bags worth. Question number 2. About how much does all that garbage weigh? A. 650 kilograms. B. 650 grams. C. 650 tons. Question number 3. When is Coastal Cleanup Day? A. Tomorrow. B. Today. C. It passed this year already. The answers are all available on the ICRT website and app. 和 ICRT 与教育部国民及学前教育署学英文，吸收新知识。ICRT 网站和 App 让你随选随听，还有文字稿哦。
This has been News for Kids on ICRT, brought to you by the K-12 Education Administration. Tune in for more every weekday and check out past episodes on the ICRT website and app.